everyone! Today we're going to be reading through some more chapters of this standard textbook of cosmetology from the 1960s. So again, my reading is terrible. I'm probably going to get words wrong and mix words up and mispronounce words, so just be prepared and just, I don't know, don't pay attention. Right, especially in one of the chapters is about bacteriology, so I don't remember how to pronounce any of those words because it's been like over a decade since I was in school, so okay. So the chapter we're going to be starting off with is chapter 4, Personality Development. Your personality is the key to success between you and the rest of your world. You can build a personality that opens a door that is easy and pleasant to enter. Only you can draft the pattern of the ideal you. Behind the door. Let me try that again. Only you can draft the pattern of the ideal you behind the door. No one can make you over. No one but you yourself. Without a pleasing personality, the student's fine workmanship or attractive appearance will be bypassed. People are not born with personalities. They are acquired according to the way the individual meets their everyday problems. Both good and adverse conditions affecting people's lives can be used to develop better personalities. Desirable qualities to cultivate. Attitude has a great deal to do with personality. It governs your likes and dislikes and your responsiveness to people, occasions, and things. People who meet difficult situations with calmness and who are cheerful, pleasant, and easy to get along with are said to have a healthy attitude toward life. Behavior. Control your temper. Once you have spoken, you cannot recall a single word. One person with his controls off balance can throw others into a state of confusion. Everything you say or do starts a chain of reactions which, be they good or bad, will have a continuing and lasting effect. When you have begun to be master of your own behavior, you are free to choose the course your behavior will take, to cultivate those characteristics which are desirable and to discard those which are unwanted. Thinking should be a part of your personality. Designing a pattern of mental thinking increases your intellectual stature. If you want people to listen when you speak, then pay attention, not alone to what you say, but how you say it. Increase your word power by building a vocabulary, by reading good literature. Broaden it by way of the dictionary. Learn new words each day, or look up the unfamiliar ones you encounter in conversation or reading. A pleasant voice is needed, for words alone will not suffice. If speech is to be both fluent and pleasing, a tone of voice properly pitched must be used. A monotone voice is both dull and uninteresting. Emotional stability. A good personality has no room for such a character weakness as emotional instability. Realize what a great beautifier serenity is and strive for emotional balance. If you want to be admired, develop the qualities of facial expressions or gestures of anger, impatience, envy, or greed. Be gracious. Learn to display pleasant emotions, a smile of greeting and a word of welcome. The willingness to assume the responsibilities of friendship. To fit into new environments and to meet new people with a charming grace, all express the quality of graciousness. Politeness. Its roots is thoughtfulness of others. Politeness should be easy to follow, for it includes all the little things such as thank you, please, and treating older people with respect, exercising care of the other's property, being tolerant and understanding of other people's efforts, and being considerate of those with whom you work. Let your heart choose your words, and you will never be rude. Be well groomed. When you meet a stranger, you make an instinctive appraisal, and this person makes an appraisal of you. This is also true of patrons you meet each day. To meet good grooming requirements, the cosmetologist's hair should be clean and styled to make a lovely frame for her face. Your grooming goes hand in hand with good posture, whether standing, walking, or sitting. Your clothing should be immaculately clean, your hands smooth, and your nails properly cared for. Have a sense of humor. Cultivate your sense of humor. Take yourself less seriously. When you can laugh at yourself, you will have gained the ability to properly evaluate your relative personal importance. Remember, your personality is the key to success. Be sure to develop your personality to the utmost. Voice and conversation. Voice and conversation plus good English equals success. The use of good English and intelligent conversation will serve you well as a professional cosmetologist. Success is not made within the beauty salon alone, but depends also on personal contacts, associations, and active participation in many social and cosmetology functions. The need for good English, voice, and conversation is therefore not limited to the patrons. To make progress within the cosmetology profession, these essentials must be relied upon during association meetings, trade shows, conventions, workshops, and social gatherings with the people who build, educate, and direct cosmetology activities. To become a part of and to progress with this rapidly growing profession, develop in the use of voice Development in the use of voice, conversation, and good English are necessary requirements. Your voice is you. A satisfactory speaking voice should be complementary to the physical self. Speech should convey the real you, since it communicates to everyone we meet that we Speech should convey the real you, since it communicates to everyone we meet what we really are. Separation cannot take place between what you say and what you are. The voice should convey sincerity, honesty of mind or intention, intelligence, the act of understanding, friendliness, friendly behavior, vitality, vigor, and liveliness, flexibility, voice tones. Expressiveness, the expression of one's individuality. The tone of voice expresses a living comment on personality and individual effectiveness. It betrays the emotions, anger, joy, hate, love, jealousy, friendliness, and envy. The voice cannot conceal an emotion you feel. The voice should be clear and understandable and have a quality of softness. If the spoken words cannot be understood, a good voice tone is useless. To be successful, a pleasing voice is needed. 1. To greet the patron. 2. For conversation. 3. To sell yourself. 4. To sell services and products. 5. To build business. Conversation. Conversation includes the use of voice, speech, intelligence, charm, and personality. The use of good speech is vital in the art of conversation. The most serious violations of good English are slang, vulgarisms, or poor grammar. These are words and expressions used by uneducated people. Topics of conversation should be as non-controversial as possible. Friendly relations are easily achieved through pleasant conversations, such relationships build a better business. Topics to discuss in conversation: patron's interest in herself, her personal grooming, and cosmetic needs. Patron's own activities, fashions. Literature, art, music, education, travel, civic affairs, vacations. Try to understand the patron's state of mind and the kind of person she is. Your conversation should be directed toward the patron's interests. Fit your conversation to the patron's mood. Here we have a little diagram that says, ability to carry on pleasant conversation with patron is an asset to the cosmetologist. To acquire conversational charm, guide the conversation. Do not be argumentative. Be a good listener. Do not monopolize the conversation. Do not become personal, prying into personal affairs. Talk about ideas rather than people. Use simple language that all can understand. Never gossip. It is small talk used by uninteresting people. Be pleasant. Use good English. Never discuss the following topics: personal problems, your own; religion, other patrons' ill behavior; your love affairs; your own financial status; poor workmanship of fellow workers; your own health problems. Never betray a patron by repeating confidential trusts given you. Unpopular persons annoy or irritate others. To become popular, develop a desirable personality by avoiding the following traits. Do not be bossy. Your personality chart. Personality is your greatest asset in life. It is the charm revealed in your speech, appearance, behavior, and manners. What you think and how you feel are expressed by your speech. How you behave in school, business, or in social life can either add or take away from your personality. Try to make the personality chart a rule picture of your inner and outer self. Study yourself first. If your rating is low, consult your teacher, friends, or doctor to find out what can be done to enrich and improve it. Check your progress by analyzing your personality every 3 months to find out what progress you are making. And here we have a personality quiz. Check the proper box in this personality quiz to find out if you have the personality qualities listed below. Girl, do you give careful attention to personal grooming, such as clothes, hair, makeup, hose, and shoes? And you check off always, sometimes, or never. Young man, do you give careful attention to your personal grooming, such as clothes, hair, shave, mustache, hair and nose, socks, and shoes? Do you check your posture, sitting, standing, and walking erect? Do you change your undergarments regularly and avoid halitosis and body odor at all times? Are you loyal to others? Are you friendly and courteous to others? Are you truthful in dealing with others? Can you get along and work with others? Can you accept responsibility? Do you have confidence in your knowledge and ability? Do you have a good tone of voice and choice of words? Reading your personality. Give yourself 10 points for always, 5 points for sometimes, and 0 points for never. Compare the final reading with the following standards. Excellent personality, 85 to 100%. Good personality, 75 to 85%. Fair personality, 60 to 75%. Poor personality, 59 or less. If you guys followed along with that little quiz, leave your results in the comments. Okay, here is where I'm going to be mispronouncing a whole lot of words, because it's about bacteriology, and I don't remember how to pronounce all the bacteria, and I looked it up and it wasn't helpful because it had both pronunciations, the one that I'm familiar with and the one that I'm not familiar with, so we'll get to that, you'll see. Alright, sterilization. Alright, let's start off with the chapter first. Chapter 5, bacteriology, sterilization, and sanitization. Sterilization and sanitization are subjects of practical importance to cosmetologists because they have a direct bearing on their own as well as their patrons' welfare. To protect individual and public health, cosmetologists should know when, why, and how to utilize sterilization and sanitization. For cosmetologists to understand the importance of sanitization and sterilization, they should first study bacteriology. Bacteriology. Bacteriology is that science which deals with the study of the microorganisms called bacteria. Cosmetologists must understand how how the spread of disease can be prevented, and become familiar with the precautions which must be taken to protect their own as well as their patrons' health. They must understand the relation of bacteria to the principles of school and salon cleanliness and sanitization. The State Board of Cosmetology and the Health Department require the application of sanitary measures while serving the public. Contagious diseases, skin infections. Contagious diseases, skin infections, and blood poisoning are caused either by the conveyance of infectious material from one individual to another, or by unsanitary implements such as combs, brushes, hairpins, clippers, rollers, etc., which have been used first on an infected person and then on another person. Other sources of contagion are dirty hands and fingernails. Bacteria are minute one-cell vegetable organisms found nearly everywhere, being especially numerous in dust, dirt, refuse, and diseased tissues. Bacteria are also known as germs or microbes. Bacteria exist everywhere, particularly on the skin of the body, in water, air, decayed matter, in the secretion of body openings, on the clothes and beneath the nails. Ordinarily, bacteria are not visible except with the aid of a microscope. 1,500 rod-shaped bacteria will barely reach across a pinhead. Types of bacteria. There are hundreds of different kinds of bacteria. However, bacteria are classified into two types, depending on their beneficial, harmless, or harmful disease-producing qualities. Non-pathogenic organisms, beneficial or harmless type, constitute the majority of all bacteria. They perform many useful functions, such as decomposing refuse and improving the fertility of the soil. To this group belonging the saprophytes, which live on dead matter and do not produce disease. Pathogenic organisms, microbes or germs, harmful type, although in the minority, produce considerable damage by invading plant or animal tissues. Pathogenic bacteria are harmful because they produce disease. To this group belong the parasites, which require living matter for their growth. It is because of pathogenic bacteria that the practice of cleanliness and sanitization is necessary in a beauty school or salon. Classification of pathogenic bacteria. Bacteria show distinct forms or shapes which aid in their identification. However, we are concerned with pathogenic bacteria, classified as follows. Okay, here's where I'm gonna mess up all these pronunciations. Alright, so when I was in school, they called these cocci, like staphylococci, streptococci. But in this book and what I saw online, here they have pronunciations. It's cocci, right? Or cocci. Oh, I don't know. cone-shaped organisms which appear singly or in groups as follows. Staphylococcus, singular Staphylococcus, are pus-forming organisms which grow in bunches or clusters. They are present in abscesses, pustules, and boils. Streptococcus, singular Streptococcus, are pus-forming organisms which grow in chains. They are found in blood poisoning. Diplococcus, singular Diplococcus, grow in pairs. They cause pneumonia. Bacillus are rod-shaped organisms which present either a short, thin, or thick structure. They are most common and produce such diseases as tetanus, lockjaw, influenza, typhoid, tuberculosis, and diphtheria. Many bacilli are spore producers. Spirilla, singular spirillum, are curved or corkscrew-shaped organisms. They are further subdivided into several groups of chief importance, being the Treponema padilla, the causative agent in syphilis. Alright. Cocci bacilli. No, cocci bacilli. Spirilla. Alright, here was just an example of all the bacteria types, shapes. They have the pronunciation after all those hard words. I don't know why they didn't do them like they normally do right after the word. But anyways, bacterial growth and reproduction. Bacteria consist of an outer cell wall and internal protoplasm. They manufacture their own food from the surrounding environment, give off waste products, and can grow and reproduce. Bacteria may exhibit two distinct phases in their life cycle: the active or vegetative stage and the inactive or spore-forming stage. Active or vegetative bacteria. During the active stage, bacteria grow and reproduce. These microorganisms multiply best in warm, dark, damp, and dirty places, where sufficient food is present. When conditions are favorable, bacteria reproduce very fast. As food is absorbed, the bacterial cell grows in size. When the limit of growth is reached, the bacterial cell divides crosswise into halves, thereby forming two daughter cells. From one bacterium, as many as 16 million germs may develop in half a day. When favorable conditions cease to exist, bacteria either die or become inactive. Inactive or spore-forming bacteria. Certain bacteria, such as the anthrax and tetanus bacilli, during their inactive stage, and in order to withstand periods of famine, dryness, and unsuitable temperatures, form spherical spores, having tough outer coverings. In this stage, spores can be blown about in the dust and are not harmed by disinfectants, heat, or cold. When favorable conditions are restored, the spores change into the active or vegetative form, and then start to grow and reproduce. Movement of bacteria. The ability to move about is limited to the bacilli and spirilla, for the cocci rarely show active motility. Whenever a motility of bacteria is shown, we find hair-like projections known as flagella, or cilia, extending from the sides and end of certain bacilli. Oh my gosh. A whip-like motion of these hairs propels the bacteria about in liquid. Bacteria infections. Pathogenic bacteria become a menace to health when they successfully invade the body. An infection occurs. I'm messing so much up, guys. I'm sorry. An infection occurs if the body is unable to cope with the bacteria and their harmful toxins. At first, the infection may be localized, as in a boil. A general infection results when the bloodstream carries the bacteria and their toxins to all parts of the body, as in blood poisoning or syphilis. The presence of pus is a sign of infection. Staphylococcus are the most common pus-forming bacteria. Found in pus are bacteria, waste matter, decayed tissue, body cells, and blood cells, both living and dead. An infectious disease becomes contagious or communicable when it spreads from one person to another by contact. Some of the more common contagious diseases which would prevent a cosmetologist from working are tuberculosis, common cold, ringworm, scabies, head lice, and virus infections. The chief source of contagion are unclean hands, unclean implements, open sores and pus, mouth and nose discharges, and the common use of drinking cups and towels. Uncovered coughing or sneezing and spitting in public also spread germs. Through personal hygiene and public sanitation, infections can be prevented and controlled. There can be no infection without the presence of pathogenic bacteria. Pathogenic bacteria may enter the body by way of a break in the skin, such as a cut, pimple, or scratch, breathing or by swallowing air, water, or food, the nose, the eyes or ears. The body fights infections by means of its defensive forces. The unbroken skin, which is the body's first line of defense. Body secretions, such as perspiration and digestive juices. White blood cells within the blood to destroy bacteria. Antitoxins to counteract the toxins produced by bacteria. Other infectious agents. Filterable viruses are living organisms so small that they will pass through the pores of a porcelain filter. They cause the common cold and other respiratory and gastrointestinal infections. Parasites are plant or animals which live upon another living organism without giving anything in return. Plant parasites or fungi, such as molds, mildews, and yeasts, can produce such contagious diseases as ringworm and favus. I'm not sure. Animal parasites, such as certain insects, are are responsible for such contagious diseases as scabies due to the itch mite and pediculosis caused by lice. Contagious diseases caused by parasites should never be treated in a beauty salon or school. Patrons should be referred to their physicians. Immunity is the ability of the body to resist invasion and destroy bacteria once they have gained entrance. Immunity against disease is a sign of good health. It may be natural or acquired. Natural immunity means natural resistance to disease, being partly inherited and partly developed by hygienic living. Acquired immunity, being artificial, is secured after the body has by itself overcome certain diseases, or when it has received certain kinds of animal injections. Human disease carrier is a person immune to a disease and yet harbors germs which can infect other people. Typhoid fever and diphtheria may be transmitted in this manner. The destruction of bacteria may be accomplished by disinfectants and intense heat such as boiling, steaming, baking or burning, and ultraviolet rays. This subject is covered in the next chapter. To avoid the spread of disease, keep yourself clean, keep your surroundings clean, keep everything you come in contact with clean, and see that everything you use is clean. And then there's a little quiz we're going to skip. Sterilization. Sterilization is the process of making an object germ-free by the destruction of all kinds of bacteria, whether beneficial or harmful. Sterilization is of practical importance to the cosmetologist because it delays with methods. I got lost. Hold on. Sterilization is of practical importance to the cosmetologist because it deals with methods used to prevent the growth of germs or destroy them entirely, particularly those which are responsible for infectious and communicable diseases. Methods of sterilization and sanitization. There are 5 well-known methods of sterilization and sanitation. These may be grouped under 2 main headings. Physical agents, moist heat, boiling water at 212 degrees Fahrenheit for 20 minutes. This method is no longer commonly used in beauty salons. Could you imagine having to put all your tools in a pot of boiling water at the end of the day? Steaming requires a steam pressure sterilizer. It is used in the medical field to kill bacteria and spores. Dry heat baking is used in hospitals to sterilize sheets, towels, gauze, cotton, and similar materials. Ultraviolet rays in an electrical sterilizer are used in beauty salons to keep sanitized implements sanitary. Health departments and State Board of Cosmetology recognize that it is important to completely sterilize implements and equipment in the beauty school or beauty salon. Therefore, it is generally recognized that implements and equipment are sanitized and not sterilized. this term sanitize will be used to indicate all forms of sanitation. Chemical agents. Antiseptics and disinfectants are presently used in beauty salons. Vapors, fumigants, and a cabinet sterilizer are used to keep sanitized implements sanitary in beauty salons. Actually, I have a story about those drawer fumigators. So I used to work at a beauty supply store that was for licensed cosmetologists and beauty salons only. So like, not like Sally's where you can just go in if you're not licensed. We were selling these fumigants that had formaldehyde in them, and I guess they were taken. The state I live in banned them, so you weren't supposed to sell them anymore, and you weren't supposed to have them in your salon, but all of our stores were still selling them. I don't know who missed that email, but chemicals are the most effective sanitizing agents that may be used in beauty salons for destroying or checking bacteria. The chemical agents used for sanitizing purposes are antiseptics and disinfectants. An antiseptic is a substance which may kill or retard the growth of bacteria without killing them. Antiseptics can, as a general rule, be used with safety on the skin. A disinfectant destroys bacteria and is used to sanitize implements. Several chemicals can be classed under both heads. A strong solution may be used as a disinfectant and a weak solution as an antiseptic. Example, formalin, alcohol, or quartz. Requirements of a good disinfectant: convenient to prepare, quick acting, preferably odorless, non-corrosive, economical, non-irritating to the skin. There are many chemical disinfectant agents on the market prepared ready for use. If these are used, select the ones that have been approved by the Board of Health or the State Board of Cosmetology. Chemicals commonly used in the beauty salons are quaternary ammonium compounds, quartz, to sanitize implements, formaldehyde to sanitize implements, alcohol to sanitize sharp cutting instruments and electrodes, Lysol, CN, etc. to clean floors, sinks, and toilet bowls. A wet sanitizer is any receptacle large enough to hold a disinfectant solution in which the objects to be sanitized are completely immersed. A cover is provided to prevent contamination of the solution. Wet sanitizers come in various sizes and shapes. So, if you guys ever go to the hair salon and you see on their station a glass jar, it's usually tall and it has a blue liquid inside, and then they put their combs in there. That is a wet sanitizer, and it has barbicide in it, and that's like the number one disinfectant, I guess, that is used in salons. So next time you get your hair cut, see if they have one of those around. It used to be very common to keep it on your station, but now usually people don't like the way they look, so they'll put them in the back room. Okay. Before immersing objects in a wet sanitizer containing a disinfectant solution, be sure to remove hair from combs and brushes. Wash thoroughly with hot water and soap. Rinse thoroughly. This procedure prevents contamination of the solution. Besides, soap and hot water remove most of the bacteria. After the implements are removed from the disinfectant solution, they should be rinsed in clean water, wiped dry with a clean towel, and stored in a dry cabinet sanitizer until ready to be used. Dry or cabinet sanitizer is an airtight cabinet compartment containing an active fumigant. The sanitized implements are kept clean by placing them in the cabinet until they are ready for use. How fumigant is prepared. Place 1 tablespoon of borax and 1 tablespoon of formalin on a small tray or blotter on the bottom of the cabinet. This will form formaldehyde vapors. That's the stuff that was banned when I worked at the salon supply store. But it came out pre-packaged. You didn't have to put it with borax in a cabinet. It looked almost like a salt shaker, and you just twisted the top open and put it in your drawer with your brushes and combs. But again, I don't know if they were banned across the country, but I know in my state that they're not supposed to be used anymore, because it gives off formaldehyde vapors, which is carcinogenic, so they got rid of those. Replace chemicals regularly as they lose their strength depending on how often the cabinet door is opened and closed. Formalin is also available in tablet form. Follow manufacturer's directions. Ultraviolet ray electrical sanitizer. Ultraviolet ray electrical sanitizers are effective for keeping combs, brushes, or implements clean until ready for use. Combs, brushes, and implements must be sanitized before they are placed in the ultraviolet sanitizer. Follow manufacturer's directions for proper use. Here we have a diagram of a UV sanitizer, which are still used today. Fun fact, you're supposed to wash and submerge all your brushes, your combs. So if you ever see someone, your hairdresser, pull out a brush out of their drawer and it's all full of someone else's hair, they're not following proper sanitation, which, guys, to be honest, it's very common for them not to be following proper sanitation. I don't know anyone who washes their brushes, to be honest. Combs are easy to put in the barbicide, so they throw them in there, but again, you're supposed to wash it before and after you put it in the barbicide. But I've literally been to hairdressers where they'll pull a comb straight from the barbicide and put it on my head, which is, you're not supposed to do that. So next time you get a haircut or a blowout or you get your hair colored, pay attention. Chemical sanitizing agents. Quaternary ammonium compound, quats. This group of compounds is effective as disinfectants. They are available under different trade and chemical names. The advantages claimed are short disinfection time, odorless and colorless, non-toxic and stable. A 1 to 1,000 solution is commonly used to sanitize implements. Immersion time ranges from 1 to 5 minutes, depending on the strength of the solution used. Caution: before using any quat, read and follow manufacturer's directions on label and accompanying literature. Find out if product can be used in naturally soft or hard water, or water that has been softened. Inquire whether it contains a rust inhibitor. Should the product lack solution prevents rusting of metallic implements. So usually that's in like nail salons with your cuticle nippers. A lot of people will keep them in the wet sanitizer until they're ready to use them. And sometimes if you leave them in there more than like the 10 minutes that is necessary, it can start to rust, so that's still an issue. But there are ones that are less likely to rust. I think barbicide kind of tends to rust your tools. I know there's a disinfectant called Let's Touch that's very popular with nail salons, because you can leave your implements in there until you're ready to use them, and it never rusts any of your metal implements. Alright, I'm gonna skip this little thing. Formalin. Formalin is a safe and effective sanitizing agent which can be used either as an antiseptic or disinfectant, depending on its percentage strength. As purchased, formalin is approximately 37 to 40% of formaldehyde gas in water. And again, guys, this one's not available anymore. Formalin is still pretty common to be found in like nail strengtheners, but not really used in hair salons as disinfectants anymore. Mainly because they can give off formaldehyde gas, which again is carcinogenic. But formalin is it's still safe to use in products as long as it's in small amounts. Formalin is used in various strengths as follows: 25% solution, equivalent to 10% formaldehyde gas, is used to sanitize implements. Immerse them in the solution for at least 10 minutes. Preparation: 2 parts formalin, 5 parts water, 1 part glycerin. 10% solution, equivalent to 4% formaldehyde gas, used to sanitize combs and brushes. Immerse them for at least 20 minutes. Preparation: 1 part formalin, 9 parts water. 5% solution, equivalent to 2% formaldehyde gas, used to cleanse the hands after they have been in contact with wounds, skin eruptions, etc. Also used to sanitize shampoo bowls and chairs. Preparation: 1 part formalin, 19 parts water. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't use formalin to wash your hands. Nowadays, they have other sanitizers and disinfectants. Hospital grade disinfectants. Sanitizing with chemical disinfectants. Wash implements thoroughly with soap and hot water. Use plain water, rinse to remove all traces of soap. Immerse implements in a wet sanitizer containing approved disinfectant for the required time. Remove implements from wet sanitizer, rinse in water, wipe dry with clean towel. Again, like I said, that barbicide, that blue liquid, that's still today the proper use. You're supposed to wash them before you put them in there, and you're supposed to rinse them off before you use them. But again, I've seen so many hairstylists just take a comb right out of their barbicide and start using it. You really should never do that. Store sanitized implements in individually wrapped cellophane envelopes or keep in cabinet sanitizer until ready to be used. Sanitizing with alcohol. To sanitize manicuring or other implements, immerse them in 70% alcohol for 20 minutes. Implements having a fine cutting edge are best sanitized by rubbing the surface with a cotton pad dampened with 70% alcohol. This application prevents cutting edges from becoming dull. Electrodes may be safely sanitized by gently rubbing the exposed surface with a cotton pad dampened with 70% alcohol. After After sanitization, place implements into a dry sanitizer until ready for use. Sanitizing floors, sinks, and toilet bowls. The disinfection of floors, sinks, and toilet bowls in the beauty salon calls for the use of such commercial products as Lysol, CN, pine needle oil, or similar disinfectants. Deodorants are also useful to offset offensive smells and for imparting a refreshing odor. Whatever disinfectant is being used, make sure that it is properly diluted as suggested by the manufacturer. It is always a pleasure for patrons to receive services in a beauty salon that is spotless. Get into the habit now, keeping everything clean and in order. This little disclaimer. Consult your state board of cosmetology or health department for lists of approved disinfectants used in beauty salons. Okay, I'm not going to read this. This is just formulas for mixing solutions. Safety precautions. The use of chemical agents for sanitization involves certain dangers unless safety measures are taken to prevent mistakes and accidents. Follow these safety rules. Purchase chemicals in small quantities and store them in a cool, dry place. Otherwise, they deteriorate due to contact with air, light, and heat. Weigh and measure chemicals carefully. Keep all containers labeled, colored, and under lock and key. Do not smell chemicals or solutions, as some of them have pungent odors. Avoid spilling when diluting chemicals. Prevent burns by using forceps to insert or remove objects from the source of heat. Keep a complete first aid kit on hand. Definitions pertaining to sanitization. Sterilize. To render sterile, to make free from all bacteria, harmful or beneficial, by the act of sterilizing. Sterile, free from all germs. Antiseptic, a chemical agent which may kill or retard the growth of bacteria. Disinfect, to destroy bacteria on any object. Disinfectant is a chemical agent having the power to destroy bacteria, germs, or microbes. Bactericide, a chemical agent having the power to destroy bacteria. Germicide, a chemical agent having the power to destroy germs. Asepsis, freedom from disease germs. Sepsis, poisoning due to pathogenic bacteria. Fumigant, vapor used to keep clean objects sanitary. Sanitize, to render objects clean and sanitary. Sanitizing rules. Chemical solutions and sanitizers should be changed when necessary. Manicuring implements must be kept in a disinfectant solution during the process of giving a manicure. All articles must be clean and free from hair before being sanitized. Combs and brushes must be sanitized after each patron has been served. Like I said, brushes. Nobody does that, but they should. Shampoo bowls must be sanitized before and after each use. All manicuring implements must be sanitized after each use on a patron. Sanitize electrical appliances by rubbing the surface with a cotton pad dampened with 70% alcohol. That's another thing that majority of people don't do. They don't clean off their blow dryer that touches the hair, their flat iron that touches the hair, the curling irons. solution should conform to State Board of Cosmetology regulations issued by your state. And here it just has chemicals and their uses. Sanitation is the application of measures to promote public health and prevent the spread of infectious diseases. The importance of sanitation cannot be overemphasized. Cosmetic services bring the cosmetologist in direct contact with the patron's skin, scalp, hair, and nails. Understanding sanitary measures ensures the protection of the patron's health. Various governmental agencies protect community health by providing for a wholesome food and water supply and the quick disposal of refuse. These steps are only a few of the ways in which public health is safeguarded. Water for drinking purposes should be odorless, colorless, and free from any foreign matter. Crystal clear water may still be unsanitary because of the presence of pathogenic bacteria which cannot be seen with the naked eye. The air within a beauty salon should be neither dry nor stagnant, nor have a stale, musty odor. Room temperature should be about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. The beauty salon can also be ventilated with the aid of an exhaust fan or an air conditioning unit. Air conditioning has the advantage that it permits changes in the quality and quantity of air brought into the beauty salon. The temperature and moisture content of the air can also be regulated by means of air conditioning. A person with an infectious disease is a source of contagion to others. Hence, cosmetologists having colds or any other communicable disease must not be permitted to serve patrons. Likewise, patrons obviously suffering from an infectious disease must not be accommodated in the beauty salon. In this way, the best interests of other patrons will be served. The public has learned the importance of sanitation and is now demanding that every possible sanitary measure be used in the beauty salon for the promotion of public health. Adopting the following sanitary rules will result in cleaner and better service to the public. The State Board of Cosmetology and the Board of Health in each state locally have formulated sanitary regulations governing beauty salons. Every cosmetologist must be familiar with these regulations in order to obey them. Sanitary rules. Adherence to the following sanitary rules will result in cleaner and better service to the public. Every beauty salon must be well lighted, heated, and ventilated, and must be kept in a clean and sanitary condition. The walls, curtains, and floor coverings in a beauty salon must be washable, and kept clean. All beauty establishments must be supplied with continuous running hot and cold water. Drinking facilities, cups, and/or fountains should be provided. All plumbing fixtures should be properly installed. The premises should be kept free from rodents, vermin, flies, or similar insects. I almost said fleas. The beauty salon is not to be used for eating, sleeping, or living quarters. All hair, cotton, or other waste material must be removed from the floor without delay and deposited in a closed container. Remove them from the premises use at frequent intervals. The restrooms must be kept in a sanitary condition and be provided with individual towels. Each cosmetologist must wear a washable uniform while working on patrons. The cosmetologist must clean her hands thoroughly before and after serving a patron and after leaving the toilet. A freshly laundered towel must be used for each patron. Towels ready for use must be stored in a clean, closed cabinet. Soiled towels and linens must be placed immediately in containers used for this purpose. Keep dirty towels away from clean towels. Headrest coverings and neck strips must be changed for each patron. Neck strips, a lot of people probably don't know what neck strips are. So there used to be, you would only have like one cape and you would change out the neck strip. For the neck strip was like a little disposable, like almost kind of like thick tissue paper that you would wrap around your client's neck and then put the cape on. That way the cape wouldn't touch the skin, so you wouldn't have to launder your cape in between customers. You would just change out the neck strip. Do not permit the shampoo cape to come into contact with the patron's skin, like I just explained. Nowadays, that's not really a common practice. Most people have a new cape for each client and then you just wash them. But a lot of times capes used to be made out of plastic, so they were hard to wash. But now they're made out of like nylon, which is still like synthetic, but it's washable. The common use of powder puffs, lipstick, rouge, solid soap, sponges, or styptic pencils. Styptic pencils is like a little pencil that you use to stop bleeding. You're not really supposed to use those anymore because they're not sanitary. By more than one person is prohibited. Lotions, ointments, creams, and powders must be kept in clean, closed containers. Use clean spatula to remove creams or ointments from jars. Use sterile cotton pledges to apply lotions and powders. Recover cosmetic containers after each use. Provide sanitary container or finger bowl with an individual paper cup for each patron. Discard emery boards after use on a patron. Soiled combs, brushes, towels, or other used material must be removed from tops of workstations immediately after use. Clippies, hairpins, or bobby pins must not be placed in the mouth. Combs or implements must not be carried in pockets of the uniform. Hairnets must not be carried in pockets or cuffs of the uniforms. Hairnets must be washed after each use. Clippers, curlers, bobby pins, or hairpins must be sanitized after each use. And you might be wondering what hairnets they're talking about. So they're not really the hairnets like lunch ladies. They're hairnets that you would put over rollers before you put them in some types of dryers. Sometimes a hood dryer has the motor built into the top, and other hood dryers have the motor built into a little like cabinet. So the ones that have the motor built into the top have the fan spinning, and that will suck up hair. So when you do a roller set, you would have to put a net over the roller so that the fan doesn't suck up the hair into it. So with the hood dryers that move like this, usually those hood dryers just go up and down, but the ones that go like this, it's hard to explain. They don't have the motor in the top, so you don't need them. Okay. All implements and articles used must first sanitized and placed in a dust-proof or airtight container or a cabinet sanitizer. Objects dropped on the floor are not to be used until sanitized. Dogs, cats, birds, or other pets shall not be permitted in a beauty school or salon. Reminders. The responsibility for sanitization rests with each student in the beauty school and each cosmetologist within the beauty salon. The manager must provide the necessities for school and salon sanitation. The cosmetologist must obey the rules on sanitation issued by the health department and the State Board of Cosmetology regarding acceptable methods of sanitization. Use clean, fresh linen. Wash your hands before and after working on a patron. Never pick up a comb or brush dropped on the floor and use it until it has been sanitized. Never place an implement in your mouth or uniform pocket or combs in your own hair. Hair dryers should not be placed so close as to touch the hair. Okay, and then there's just a quiz on the chapter, and we're gonna skip. Alright, so that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. In the next part, it'll be a little bit more interesting because I think it's on shampooing. Yeah, shampooing and rinsing. So in the next video, we'll go into a little bit more details that are a bit more interesting. Alright, so thanks for watching. Bye-bye.